Namo Namah Buddha Divakaraya. Namo Namah Gautama Chandrikaya. Namo Namah Ananta Guna Naraya. Namo Namah Shaikyanandanaya. I bow down to Lord Buddha, who is luminous like the blazing sun and soothing like the moon. I bow down to Buddha, the prince of Shaikya dynasty and a man of infinite divine qualities. May he illumine our hearts. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, 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 people. This morning our subject is Buddha and his teachings, part 22. It is a series of talk on Dhammapada, the teachings of Buddha. It is a coincidence that Buddha was born on Vaishakhi Purnima, the full moon of Vaishak, in 563 BC. On the same day, he attained illumination. And on the same day, he passed away. So, Buddha Purnima is called Three Blessed Day. Buddha was born at Kapilavastu, a small kingdom near Nepal and Indian border. His father was a king, Shuddhodana, and he was the only son. His mother died when he was 7 years old. His aunt Mahaprajapati raised him. He learned 64 scripts. Reached a great prince. He was married when he was 16 years old with Yashodhara. And it was in a horoscope that he would be a monk. So the king was trying to divert his mind to the world. He built 3 palaces for his son, 1 palace for winter, 1 palace for summer, and 1 palace for rainy season. He had a lot of enjoyments, beautiful girls singing, dancing to entertain him. He was deeply thinking about life. One day, one of his friends shot an arrow to a swan, flying swan, and Buddha was very much moved. He took that wounded swan, removed the arrow, nursed, and then saved its life. His friend came, that swan belonged to me. But no, I saved its life, so it belongs to me. So he deeply felt about suffering. Suffering. One day he went for a tour and found an old man walking with his stick in hand. So he asked his charioteer, "Who is he?" Well, he's an old man. Everybody becomes old. he was getting knowledge from this outside world. Then another day he found a person was shivering and walking. Who is he? Oh, he has a disease. He is suffering from fever. Every human being suffers some kind of disease sometimes or other. It is inevitable. If you have a body, you must get some disease. Third day he found that if some people are crying or carrying a dead body. What is that? Oh, that person died. They are taking him to cremate. Every human being dies. Another day he found a mendicant walking through the street. Well, who is he? Well, he is a mendicant. He renounced everything for God. So these 4 lessons in his life moved him. He was thinking what to do. How can I stop suffering from the people? I must find out a way. He was a very bold, very strong seeker. So he was contemplating to renounce the world. It was when he was 29 years old, he had a son named Rahul. He was thinking, I must leave now. So at midnight he asked his charioteer Chandak, make my carriage, horse chariot ready. He went to see his wife and son who were sleeping on bed. He removed a little screen and saw. Left. Of course, before that he had an argument with his father. Do not leave. We shall give everything you want. But you cannot just stop death. You cannot just stop suffering. That I am going to do. I shall find out a way if people can get rid of suffering and death. They will conquer death. They will attain Nirvana. Anyhow, so he was leaving at the age of 29. Buddha's departure was depicted in Lolita Vistara, his biography, very graphically. They call it Maha Abhinishkraman, the great departure. Swami Vivekananda said, you people, what do you have? Nothing compared to Buddha. Real renunciation is Buddha's renunciation. He was the prince, he had a beautiful wife, son, kingdom, everything. But he renounced. His renunciation is really praiseworthy, Swamiji said. The legend goes, when Buddha's carriage was passing through the street, Jaksha is putting hands below the foot of the horses so that it will not make any noise. He must go out from the city. Then he cut his hair, he gave his dress to Chandaka, and give all these things to my father. I don't need anything. Chandak argued, why are you leaving? I am going to attain Nirvana. Liberation. But it is uncertain. You are leaving certain things for the uncertain thing. Your kingdom, your father, your wife, this money, wealth, everything, they are certain. And you are going to seek uncertain object that is Nirvana. Buddha said, you are right, but I must try. There is nothing wrong that I tried and failed. Instead, I am not trying at all. I must try. This we find in Buddha's life all through. Self-confidence and self-effort, which brings success in human life. He went, as I said, at the age of 29, 6 years, tremendous austerity and practicing disciplines. He went to Vedanta monks, learned some Vedanta from them. Then he said, it will not help me. So we went to Goya, now which is called Bodh Gaya. On the bank of the Niranjana river, he started vigorous disciplines. He was emaciated, eating grass, leaves. People, the cowherd boys saw him like a ghoul. Eyes went into the socket, only skin and bone. So they used to throw stones at him. One day he took bath in the river. When you got up, he fell down. Very weak. So a girl named Sujata, she saw from a distance. She went home, brought some rice pudding, and fed Buddha. Then Buddha was thinking, killing the body, I cannot kill my desires. My anger, jealousy, other stuff, you cannot destroy them through fasting and killing your body. It is in the mind. So I must follow the middle path, Madhyam Pantha. Buddha's analogy is very beautiful. Do you know what did he say? Here is a veena, musical instrument. If you tune it too tight, it will not bring the right sound. If the strings are loose, you will not get the right sound. So you will have to tune it just right, so that it can get the right sound. So I shall follow the middle path. Then he took a vow. I remember I went in 1982 to see Bodh Gaya and the place Buddha attained Nirvana. He took a vow. Yahasane shishyatu me shariram tvagasti mam sampralayancha jatu aprapya bodhi bahukalpa durlabam naivasanat kaya mataschalishyate. Let my body be dried up, perish on this seat, asana. May my skin and bone fall apart. But without attaining Nirvana, I shall not move from this place. So, he attained Nirvana. The abbot told me, 49 days Buddha moved around, thinking the knowledge which I achieved, I must share with everybody. When you get some good food, don't eat by yourself. Share with others. Then you will get more joy. Other, like a selfish person, if you eat yourself, you will get only one unit joy. So he decided, I shall share my wisdom to others. He first came to Varanasi, the seat of learning and culture. That place is called Saranath. It is 4 or 5 miles from Benares. Still all this, the Buddha, Gubha is the, Bihar is there, monastery, now it is a national museum. So at the age of 35, he attained Nirvana And next 45 years he preached his religion, his philosophy. What did he do? What did he invent? What was his teachings? He followed the magical science. Very, very accurate. What do these doctors do? First they diagnose the disease. Then they give the medication. Medication. And the doctors know this medication will cure the patient. So he discovered 4 Aryan truths, Arya Sattva. The first truth, there is misery. Yes. What is the cause of misery? The doctors always find out what is the cause of your disease. First, second is the cause, the origin of the disease. Third, there must be a cure. If there is a disease can be cured. The thing which has an origin, it can be finished, ended. And the fourth, my eightfold path, Astangic Marga. If you practice it, your disease will be cured. It is experimented and verified. That is the reason Buddha's teaching is very pragmatic. Somebody asked Buddha, is there any God? You see, in Buddha Dharma, there is no God, there is no Guru. Being nobody, going nowhere. Tell me, is there any afterlife? Tell me, is there any Atman? Buddha kept quiet. Do you know what did he say? If somebody throws an arrow on your body, what do? If you think, Acha, who threw this arrow? Why? What is the metal of this arrow? Where was it manufactured? Is there any poison in the arrow or not? Acha, how much it has penetrated inside? In this way, if you go on and on and on about this arrow, you will die. So what you are supposed to do? Take the arrow out from the body instantly. Do not delay. That is Buddha's philosophy. Why are you talking about God, Atman, Brahman, and what happens after life? It is not necessary. You have misery. You remove it. And I have the medicine. That Buddha said. But it sounds good. Our Upanishad says, Acharyavan Purusho Veda. Only that person knows who has a teacher. Without teacher, we cannot learn anything. I sometimes say some people, you are a doctor or an engineer or a professor, think how many teachers you had in your life from your kindergarten school. Teachers are important. Second, what will you hold? You see, Buddha will tell us, Atmadipo Bhava, be the lamp. Light your own lamp. Do not depend on anybody. Depend on yourself. Sarvam atmavasham sukham, paravasham dukkham. Depending on yourself brings happiness. Depending on others brings misery. Depend on yourself. When Buddha was dying, somebody asked, who will teach us? when you pass, when you die. Buddha says, my teachings. But there are so many teachings in the book. Sometimes it does not work. We need human teachers. Self-effort, self-confidence. There are two main schools of Buddhism, Hinojana and Mahajana. Hinojana means a small vehicle. They believe Buddha is a man attaining Nirvana and follow his teachings. And they built Gumpa as a symbol. Mahajana, they thought that Buddha was God in human form, make images and worship him. If you see the difference between Hinojana and Mahajana, Hinojana people are eager to get their own liberation. Mahajana people, they also want liberation for others. They have a bodhisattva ideal. Do you know what is bodhisattva ideal? I am a boatman. I have a boat. I ask people, come to my boat. I shall take you to the other side of the river, Nirvana. So after illumination, he helps others also to take the other side of the river. That is liberation. They are very large-hearted. And these people are small-hearted. That is the difference between. I remember it was in 1993, I went to Ajanta and Ellora. It is in Madhya Pradesh. Those caves, if you see, you will see what a great wonder. How the Buddhist monks carved the mountain and built all these frescoes of Buddha's life, which is one of the best things in the whole world. There I found three kinds of Buddha. Dhyani Buddha, Buddha in deep meditation with closed eyes. Just most of the places you will see Buddha in deep meditation, calm, serene, tranquil, thinking only good for the world. Then Jnani Buddha. You will find Buddha's eyes open with fingers like this, sitting and imparting his teachings, knowledge. Another is Mahakarunik Buddha. Buddha you will find waiting, holding one hand like this, showing fearlessness and compassion for the people. I saw three kinds of images in those gumpas, in those caves. Buddha's teachings are, after his passing away, when he was 80 years old, in three books, they call it Tripitaka, three baskets of teachings of Buddha. Sutta Pitaka, Vinaya Pitaka, Abhidhamma Pitaka. Sutta Pitaka is Buddha's teachings, which he said, he did not write any books, his disciples recorded in Pali language. Second, Vinaya Pitaka. That is the teachings for the monks and the nuns. Or Abhidhamma Pitaka, some kind of interpretation of Buddha's teachings. This Sutta Pitaka, there are 184 teachings of Buddha recorded. 184,000. Ananda, his attendant, knew by heart 182,000. And 2,000 he collected from others. So these teachings of Buddha, he he mainly taught the moral and ethical aspects of Vedanta, as Swami Vivekananda said. He asked people, be good and do good. Be good and do good. Now the question arises, why should I do good? Why should I do good to you? What shall I gain? If I do good to you, you will be benefited. I am not going to get benefit. Swami Vivekananda told to Sister Nivedita, the answer is in Vedanta. While doing good to others, you are doing good to yourself. Because all are the Atman. That is the way Vedanta teaches, you see. Then, as you find, 10 commandments of Moses, 9 beatitudes of Jesus, 10 teachings of Patanjali. I remember I gave a series of talk on that, I think in 1980s or 90s. Similarly, there are Eightfold Path of Buddha. Buddha also taught 8 disciplines. 5 disciplines for the general people. First, ahimsa. Don't harm anybody in your life. Second, practice truth. Third, just like do not commit adultery, practice brahmacharya. Fourth, do not steal. Fifth, do not drink. Don't get intoxicated. These 5 are general. And 5 more for the monastics. 6, don't eat food on odd time or something like that, akal bhojan. Don't be attached to dancing and singing, all the secular enjoyments. Don't try to get perfumes and things which bring some kind of excitement inside. Next, fancy bed, soft bed, it will create desire for enjoyment. And then, do not accept gold and silver. These are for the monastics. So it is in the 5th century, Buddha Ghosh, a great Buddhist teacher of Buddhism, compiled 423 verses in 26 chapters. That is called this book, Dhammapada. And behind each teaching of Buddha, there is a story that I am going to tell you. These teachings, first they will tell you a story, why Buddha gave that teaching, then they will give a commentary. So this I gave you, as I told you, as an introduction of Buddha. Mahatma Gandhi made a remark, I do not regard God as a person. Truth for me is God, and God's law and God are not different things or facts. In the sense that an earthly king and his law are different, because God is an idea, law himself. He and his law abide everywhere and govern everything. That is the saying of Mahatma Gandhi. We are studying the chapter 9. Name of the chapter is called Papavarga, evil. We finished 4 last year. First, I shall not read the Pali, it will not help you to understand. Let me read the English translation, then I shall tell the story. Even an evildoer sees happiness as long as his evil deed has not ripened. But when his evil deed has ripened, then does the evildoer see evil. Even a good man sees evil as long as his good deed has not ripened. But when his good deed has ripened, then does the good man see happiness. Very interesting. Behind these teachings, there is a story. There was a very rich man named Anath Pinjada, a devotee of Buddha in Sravasti. He spent 500 million rupees to build a monastery for Buddha. And he used to feed every day 500 monks. One day, slowly he found he was a little financial crisis. So somebody suggested, why don't you stop serving the monks? Anath Pinjada said, I can't. I'll have to serve my guru and his disciples. He continued. Buddha listened to this story in this incident and then said these two teachings. How to spend money. You see, it is an Indian tradition. If you go to Punjab, in UP, in the Himalayan region, Uttarakhand, it is a custom that the householders feed the monks. They are mendicants. Feeding them, they get virtue. Because the spirituality they gather, the monks, they share with the householders who feed them. So it is very, very common. They are always eager to feed the holy people. It is in their blood. They will cook always some extra food in home so that I can feed a monk or a holy person. In the Uttarakhand, in the Himalayan region, there was a monk named Kali Kulmi Baba. He used to go to town and business people, rich people, give me money. What will you do? You are a holy man, mendicant. I shall feed the monks. In many places in Uttarakhand, you will find Kali Kulmi Chhatra, the inn of Kali Kulmi. Do you know what that means? It means at 11 o'clock or something, 10 o'clock, that chhatra, that inn will cook a lot of food. And those mendicants, those who are meditating in the caves, in the huts, they will come and get that cooked food. Some places once a day, some places twice a day. That is their tradition. They feed these holy people. Swami Turiyananda made a remark, Je day tar hath dhonni. That person's hand is blessed who gives. This kind of charity destroys the selfishness of the people. Most people are very possessive. Only money, money, saving. Sri Ramakrishna made a very strange remark, I should say. The rich people's money go to 4 places. The robbers, the lawyers, the doctors, and the spoiled children. When you will die, nothing will go with you. Sri Ramakrishna one day told his devotee Shurendra Mitra, Shurendra, in your office you speak lie. You are an agent of a big company, but still I eat your food. Do you know why? Because you give charity. You are a very large-hearted person. You are not miserly. That is the reason I eat your food. what Buddha wanted to say, that a virtue, this way, slowly, slowly you can gather a little virtue, then you will be virtuous. Similarly, evil deeds also, you do a little, you will be evil. Phalena puriciyate. Your happiness and misery depends upon your karma. Good karma brings happiness. Bad karma brings misery. The next teaching. Let no man think lightly of evil, saying in his heart, it will not come nigh, N-I-G-H, unto me. Even by the falling of water drops, a water pot is filled. The fool becomes full of evil, even if he gathers it little by little. Behind this teaching, this is the story. There is a monk in the monastery who was very careless, breaking pots and pans, doing this and that. Some monks cautioned him, it is not good for you. You are just from breaking, which is wrong. Some, it is one it is made, one day it will be destroyed, which is wrong. Carelessness. When Buddha heard it, he told this story, this teaching, that even by falling of water drops, a water pot is filled. The fool becomes full of evil, even if he gathers it little by little. Carelessness. Sri Ramakrishna's famous saying, Bhakta hobi to boka hobi kano. Be a devotee, but don't be stupid. You must never be cheated by anybody. If you get cheated from one person, that means you will be cheated by others and others and others. Never. Stop. Then he says, in this world it is true, some people come to build and some people come to destroy. I remember I told you many times that the story of Prabhupada. He went to Swami Chetanananda, a disciple of Vivekananda. Then this Swami was dying. He said, hello, young man, do you know what is the meaning of the word constructive? Yes. No, open the dictionary and get the meaning. He got it. Now find out what is the meaning of the word destructive. Open the dictionary. Got the meaning. Get the meaning. So he got it and they said, my boy, you know the meaning of the both words. Now in your life, do everything constructive. Everything constructive. Waste. Some people, I know this, they are so wasteful. I tell you one thing. Swami Satprakashananda, he was very frugal. When the devotees would go to the shrine, he would ask them, don't take the whole portion of the towel. If you wash your hand, cut and take half of the towel. Save paper. Do not waste. He was very, very careful about the waste. It so happened some Holy Mother one day made some khichdi. So he kept some khichdi for Gauri Sharananda. He was in school. When he came back, he fed her, she fed him. And then there's some extra. So he was telling Mother, let me throw away. No. There is a poor woman in the village. You go and carry this khichdi and give to her. Do not throw away. Not only that, he said, if you cannot give to human beings, give to the cows. So it should not be wasted. You know, I wrote it when I was writing that portion in Holy Mother Sahib. I googled it and found how much food we waste in America. If you Google it, you will find it. Unbelievable. How much food we waste in the grocery shop, from your refrigerator. Unbelievable amount of food we waste in this country. I put a footnote there. It came in New York Times. These small, small things that will show your character. In front of the footlight, you can see a person great. Swamiji says, I want to go and see how he behaves with his servants, how he behaves with the people. That will show your character. With small, small things. Do not waste. Put the things in its proper place. It shows that you have a very disciplined mind. Some people are going their house is scattered, everything. Waste not, want not. Some people waste becomes habit. And do you know how does it go? Narada says in his Bhakti Sutra, Tarangaita upime sangat samudrayanti. When in the ocean, when a little wave comes, I can handle it. When that little wave becomes a tidal wave, then it can kill you, can destroy you. So the moment these little things come, immediately close it. Do not allow it to grow. Same thing, your evil deeds, your bad karma. The moment anything comes, stop it. Otherwise it will take you to the bottom point. Shankara mentioned in Crazy Jewel of Discrimination. Here's the tennis ball. You are on the 5th floor. It just accidentally fell from your hand. What will that ball go? It will drip, step over a step, and it will not stop until it goes to the basement. So the moment the ball is slipped from your hand, jump and catch it. The moment your mind falls in a bad place, immediately stop it and withdraw it from that place. That he was talking about. Habit. Change your habit. It is extremely, extremely important. Next verse. Let no man think lightly of good, saying in his heart, it will not come nigh unto me. Even by the falling of water drops, a water pot is filled. The steadfast man becomes full of good, even if he gathers a little by little. 122. Some people in Shrabasti wanted that we must feed the monks regularly in our big kitchen, and they were trying to raise some money. But there was a rich man in town, he did not cooperate. He was a very miserly person. So, but the function went very well. They are feeding these monks. Then this Pandit, the person who organized the whole thing, he was appreciating and praising the people, that you people are very generous, that is the reason we can feed these people. And even he praised that rich man also, that he is also very nice. But it humbled him. He saw that person's, Pandit's, that organizer's generosity and his greatness. So it touched his heart. So he was very much, he regretted, and he begged forgiveness from the Pandit. In that connection, Buddha gave these teachings. Let no man think highly of good, saying in his heart, it will not come nigh unto me. Even by the falling of water drops, a water pot is filled. The steadfast man becomes full of good, even he gathers it little by little. Do you know what is the secret? Secret is, there are three kinds of spiritual seekers. One is very sincere, second, mediocre, third, lazy. It depends upon your speed. Some people can change their lives and character very quickly. Some very slowly. It depends upon our speed. That is the reason Patanjali mentioned in Yoga Sutra, Tibro Sangveganam Asannaha. The person who has a tremendous velocity, speed, attains perfection very quickly. So he was talking about that thing. Money has three directions. Either you enjoy by yourself, or you give charity, or it will be destroyed. Nobody will be able to use it. It is a gospel of hope. Never think that I shall never be virtuous, it will never come to me. It will come if you practice it. Sometimes I ask people, morning and evening, sit in the shrine, even a short time. That habit will save your life. One of our sadhus used to say, Swami Sharadeshananda, Gopesh Maharaj, Ashon sadhu ke bachai. Ashon, the meditation cushion, saves a monk's life. Every day, practice, pray, read something, holy books. That will protect you. That will save you. Otherwise, in the world, trials and tribulations, problems, sickness, disease, death, they will be around you all the time. But this spiritual life will protect you. That Buddha was talking about. A punya, virtue comes slowly, slowly, every day if you do practice, and one day you see, my goodness. I was watching a Swami, Gombiranandaji. He was translating Brahma Sutra, Shankara's commentary into English. I watched that man spend 5 years in between his work, he is translating. One day, a big volume came out. Just little by little every day. I watched, in front of me it happened. How he worked in between his work. The commentator says, a small spark of fire can create a forest fire. If you go to Tubuko Monastery, I remember in our days, do not smoke, even in car. That is the sign. Do you know what? Somebody will smoke and throw the cigarette out. Santana wind will come and will burn thousands and thousands of acres. That one spark, fire, can burn the whole thing. House, many things will be burned. One spark, one cigarette light. And when that wind comes, it is a very gusty wind. It will burn your house, it will burn everything. So, in karma, always be careful. The next story. There was a let a man avoid evil deeds as a merchant who has few companions and carries much wealth, avoids a dangerous road, as a man who loves life avoids poison. The story goes, A rich merchant wanted to go for his business, and some monks wanted to go with him because he has money, and they said, on the way we shall go for pilgrimage also. So they went. After some days, this merchant came to know that if he goes further, some robbers are waiting to rob him. So he stopped further journey. And the monks found that they could not go further either, so they returned to the monastery. When Buddha heard that story, he gave this teaching. Let a man avoid evil deeds as a merchant who has few companions and carries much wealth avoids a dangerous road, as a man who loves life avoids poison. What is the main teachings? Sadhu Shabda. Be careful about the spiritual journey. Kshurasya dhara nishita duratya durgam patastat kavayu vadanti. In the Kathopanishad we read, this spiritual path is sharp like a razor. Any moment your feet may be cut. Durgam pathastat, very difficult path. Be careful. Do not make mistakes. That is mistake talking about. You know, sometimes when you make mistakes or do something wrong, our conscience tells us you did wrong. But we do not like to listen that inner voice. Again we go and do. Again conscience says don't do. Again they do. Then it becomes a habit. Then they philosophize, and my wrong deed is right. I remember one young man had some moral lapses. He used to come to Brahmananda quite often. And when he did it, everybody knew what he wronged he did. He did not want to come to Brahmananda anymore. So one day at noontime, when everybody is supposed to sleep, that young boy came to visit Balaram's house, and then he face to face came to Maharaj. Maharaj called him, Tabu. Yes, Maharaj. His face was down. You could not see eye to eye, His face was down. Tabu, did you see big water buffalo? Yes, Maharaj. That water buffalo have two big horns? Yes. If a mosquito sits on the horn of a buffalo, does the buffalo feel? He kept quiet. I am that water buffalo. That means this little mistake, it does not bother me. I'm a putit pavan. I'm the savior of the fallen. Do not leave me. The way Maharaj said, very careful. What does the last do? First, do you know what does it do? Gyan ke molding kar de. Your knowledge that it is bad, it will just put a little covering over there. Second stage, it will reduce your strength, moral strength. It will destroy it. And the third, it will completely cover your mind and make you blind. At that time, you do not know whether you are doing right or wrong. That happens to the last. That scripture says that how it works. First, it will give a little covering, coating. Second stage, it will reduce your power, strength. And third stage, you are completely deluded. That is the way it works. spiritual life. There was a young monk, Holy Mother's disciple. His father left a lot of money for him. So he came to Holy Mother, Mother, what shall I do? She gave a good advice. Take your mother to Benares and give that retirement home and give money there, and then just come the monastery. He was thinking that if I do not manage my father, mother's property, you know what will happen. Mother cautioned him. You will be attached to this money and that will bring downfall. But that boy did not listen. He had to leave the monastery. As I said, if you do not be careful, there is a chance to fall from the spiritual path. That Buddha was talking about is, be very careful. I think I shall stop here tonight. About spiritual life, as I said, it is you will have to be very careful. There is a story that, caravan in the desert. They ride on the camels. And do you know what happens? The camels have a sixth sense. They smell. If there is a sandstorm at a distance, they smell. Immediately, do you know what do they do? In the desert, there are some slopes are there. So immediately you will find all these camels will lie down in the slope. Then the caravan, the human beings also, they also lie down, just by the side of the camels. Then when the sandstorm comes, it blows over them. Otherwise you will die. Sandstorm, they come with a tremendous speed and will prick on your skin, and it may bring death to you. So they have a sixth sense. They can see that how this storm coming, and they take precaution. Similarly, spiritual life, the yogis, those who practice spiritual disciplines, they can see that my problem is coming. Immediately they withdraw themselves and they take precaution. They take help from other monks. In spiritual life, as I tell you, that it is a struggle. We find all great teachers of the world went through this struggle. The more struggle, the more you fight, the more strong you become. But here Buddha says, be careful. Do not try to do too much adventure in the spiritual life. Thank you. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् दुर्जनो सज्जनो भूयात् सज्जनो शान्तिमाप्नुयात् शान्तो मुच्येत बन्देभ्यो मुक्तस्य नन् विमोचयेत्. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good. May none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous attain tranquility. May the tranquil be freed from bonds. May the freed make others free. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace be to all.